My name is Arthur Hale. I'm 69 years old. And 3 months ago, my wife asked me a question that made me realize I'd been a ghost in my own marriage for half a century. I didn't cheat on her. I didn't gamble our money away. I didn't drink, didn't yell, didn't raise a hand. By most standards, I was a good husband, faithful, present, reliable. But when Evelyn was dying, when she had maybe 2 weeks left, and the hospice nurse had just changed her morphine drip, she looked at me with those tired brown eyes and asked, "Arthur, did you ever actually see me?" I didn't know what to say. I still don't. She died 11 days later, and I've been trying to answer that question ever since. Let me tell you something nobody warns you about. The worst kind of marriage isn't the one that ends in screaming matches or broken dishes. It's the one that ends in silence, in routine, in two people who share a bed and a mortgage and 50 years of history, but somewhere along the way stop sharing anything that mattered. Evelyn had pancreatic cancer, stage 4. By the time they found it, there wasn't much they could do except make her comfortable. We had about 9 months from diagnosis to the end. 9 months to say everything we'd never said. We didn't say much at all. People kept telling me how lucky we were to have had all that time together. 50 years. They said it like it was an achievement, like longevity equals success. But here's what I learned too late. You can spend 50 years with someone and never really know them. You can sleep next to someone for 18,000 nights and wake up next to a stranger. I need to tell you how this happened. Not because I want sympathy, I don't deserve it, but because I see myself everywhere now. They said it like it was an achievement, like longevity equals success. But here's what I learned too late. You can spend 50 years with someone and never really know them. You can sleep next to someone for 18,000 nights and wake up next to a stranger. I need to tell you how this happened. Not because I want sympathy, I don't deserve it, but because I see myself everywhere now. In the grocery store, watching men walk 3 steps ahead of their wives, at restaurants, seeing couples eat entire meals without looking up from their phones. In my own reflection, finally understanding what I couldn't see before. It wasn't one big thing. It was 1,000 small things. It was 1998 when Evelyn signed us up for a pottery class at the community center. She was so excited. She showed me the brochure 3 times. I said yes, I'd go. But when Thursday came, I told her I was too tired. She went alone for 6 weeks, then stopped going. I never asked why, never asked to see what she'd made. It was every time she started a sentence with, "I was thinking today," and I'd interrupt with something about work, the furnace, the lawn, anything. It was her 45th birthday. She'd mentioned months earlier, casually, that she'd always wanted to see the ocean at sunrise, just once. We lived in Kansas. It wasn't impossible. It would have taken planning, sure. A weekend trip, but I forgot. I got her a necklace instead, something from the jewelry store at the mall. She smiled and thanked me and never wore it. It was the way she'd touch my shoulder when she walked past my chair, and I'd barely notice, the way she'd ask if I wanted tea, and I'd grunt instead of answering. The way she'd tell me about her day, and I'd give her that half attention you give to background noise while you're reading the paper. Small things, forgettable things, except she didn't forget. After she died, I found a journal in her nightstand, just a plain blue notebook. I almost threw it out with her other things. I wish sometimes that I had. It wasn't a diary exactly, more like scattered thoughts, observations. There were entries from across 30 years. Not many. Maybe one every few months. sometimes less. One from 2003 said, "Made Arthur's favorite dinner tonight. Pot roast with those little potatoes he likes. He ate it while watching the news. I don't think he noticed." One from 2011 tried to tell him about the dream I had. He said, "That's nice," without looking up. I don't know why I still try. One from 2016, just 4 words, "I am so lonely." I sat on our bedroom floor and read that notebook cover to cover. And with every page, I felt something inside me crack open. Because I remembered those days. I remembered that pot roast, that dream, that moment in 2016. I just didn't remember her. Here's what nobody tells you about marriage. It doesn't die from lack of love. It dies from lack of attention. From taking someone for granted so slowly, so gradually that you don't even realize you're doing it. Evelyn stopped trying somewhere around our 30th anniversary. I didn't notice that either. She stopped suggesting movies we could see together, stopped asking me to take walks with her, stopped starting conversations that required more than yes or no. She learned over years and years that I wasn't really listening anyway. So why waste the words? And I thought everything was fine. I thought we had a good marriage, comfortable, stable, easy. But comfortable isn't the same as connected. Stable isn't the same as alive. Easy isn't the same as meaningful. I remember the exact moment I understood this. It was about a week before she died. Her sister Carol had come to visit, and I stepped out to give them privacy. But I could hear them through the door. Carol was crying, asking Evelyn if she was scared. And Evelyn said, "I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared that I already did, years ago, and nobody noticed." Where Carol was crying, asking Evelyn if she was scared. And Evelyn said, "I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared that I already did, years ago, and nobody noticed." Where Carol was crying, asking Evelyn if she was scared. I stood in that hallway and felt my heart stop. She wasn't talking about the cancer. There's a specific kind of pain that comes from realizing you had something precious and you destroyed it through sheer indifference. Not malice, not anger, just not caring enough, not paying attention, not being present even when you were there. I'd tell myself I was tired. I'd had a long day. I needed to decompress. And that was all true. But what was also true is that Evelyn had long days too. She was tired too. She needed connection too. I just never asked. In those final 2 weeks, I tried. God, I tried. I held her hand. I asked her questions. I listened to stories I should have heard decades ago about her childhood, her fears, her dreams, the things she'd always wanted to do. And she answered. But there was something in her eyes, not anger, something worse, resignation, like she was humoring me, like she was thinking, where was this 40 years ago? The night she died, I was sitting next to her bed. She hadn't been conscious for hours, but right at the end, her eyes opened, just for a second. She looked at me, and I swear, she looked surprised, like she'd forgotten I was there. Then she was gone. At her funeral, people told me stories I'd never heard. About how Evelyn volunteered at the library every Tuesday for 15 years, how she'd taught herself to play piano in her 60s, how she'd written poetry and shared it with her book club. I lived with this woman for 50 years and I didn't know any of it because I never asked. I never looked. I never saw. I keep thinking about that question. Did you ever actually see me? And the answer is no. I saw a wife. I saw a role. I saw the person who made my coffee and folded my laundry and remembered our grandson's birthday when I forgot. But I didn't see Evelyn, the actual person, with hopes and disappointments and an entire interior world I never bothered to explore. So let me tell you what I learned. Let me give you what I can't use anymore. Love is not a wedding. It's not an anniversary. It's not 50 years of sleeping in the same bed.
Love is built in tiny moments. In the question you ask when you could stay silent. In the phone you put down to actually listen. In remembering what she mentioned 3 weeks ago and bringing it up today. In noticing when she's quiet and asking why. In seeing her, actually seeing her.
The biggest threat to love isn't betrayal or conflict. It's indifference. It's autopilot. It's the slow fade from partners into roommates, into strangers who share an address. And here's the thing that kills me. It's reversible, right up until it's not. Every single moment I wasted, I could have changed. Every time I chose the TV over conversation, the newspaper over eye contact, convenience over connection, I could have chosen differently, but I didn't. And now she's gone. And I have a blue notebook and a lifetime of regret and the answer to a question I can never give her. If you're married or in love or living with someone you care about, look at them today. Actually look. Ask them something real. Listen to the answer. Put your phone down. Turn off the TV. Be there. Not physically. Actually there. Because here's what I know now. You don't get those moments back. You can't bank them for later. You can't assume there will always be more time. I had 50 years with Evelyn. 50 years. And I'd give anything, everything, for just one more day where I actually showed up. Don't waste yours. Please, don't wait until someone is dying to realize they were alive. Don't wait until they're gone to finally see them. I'm Arthur Hale. I'm 69 years old. And I spent half a century living next to someone I loved but never truly knew. Learn from me before it's too late to matter.